Why do we self-sabotage? How does self-sabotage work? And I was approached, inspires this movie, by the way, is that this video is, I was approached by a 70-plus-year-old male here on Bali by email. He actually found out about me at the print shop and realized, oh my God, Nicole Schneider from Global NLP Training is on the island right now. I want to work with her. And the topic was about self-sabotage. And I can't see clients while I'm here, so I gave him like a bunch of my former students here on the island and people to meet on Zoom. And so I thought it was interesting how he wanted to book me for one session, assumed that I could help him with self-sabotage. And I probably could. But why is it that so many coaches and so many people fail in resolving self-sabotage? That is because there is a focus on the outcome, the moment that you are doing the self-sabotage, or maybe have been doing the self-sabotage for a while. And that outcome is just the problem. It's not very interesting. What is interesting is how you got to the self-sabotage in the first place. Now, psychoanalysis, we're going to go into our childhood and whatever. Okay, fine. I may do that using NLP timelining. But the reality is you want to know how someone or your brain works leading up to the self-sabotage. That may have been weeks, months earlier. What was the trigger? When was the switch where you started to go from doing whatever you needed to be doing to not doing it? What was the trigger? Then how did the thought process work? If I had to write it down on a flip chart, how do you or does your client do self-sabotage? What's the thought process? Or perhaps lack of it. So you want to discover what they are doing or aren't doing in that moment where it flipped to the process towards self-sabotaging. Does that make sense? Because then you can understand how specifically the problem works. Maybe who specifically is involved, could be an external environment. And it could be through thinking, through visualizing, for not thinking, not visualizing. It could have external factors. You need to ask who, what, how specifically, the meta model, NLP meta model, questions to figure out what's the underlying process. And then you get closer to fixing self-sabotage and figure it out. So what can I give you right now? I can give you a little small NLP technique to resolving or start resolving your own or somebody else's self-sabotage. And even though I have this beautiful backdrop of Bali here, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to pretend to be in a trance. And if any thoughts come into your mind, that's okay. It means your brain works. It's a good thing. And I want you to scan your body from the top of your head down to the very tips of your toes. And I want you to locate that part of you, that self-sabotage, somewhere in your body. And if you cannot locate it, then I want you to pretend as if you can locate it. And I want you to float that part of you that self-sabotages out of your body to sit right in front of you. You could even maybe hold it in your hand or put it on the table in front of you. Does it look like anything? Does it have a shape or even a color? If I were to touch it, does it have a texture? Or maybe a temperature? Does it move? Does it make a sound? And I want you to imagine that this object, this manifestation that you see in front of you, is your unconscious mind. That part of your unconscious mind that self-sabotages. And I want you to ask it a question in your mind, otherwise you sound like a crazy person. And the question that I want you to ask yourself is, what's the positive intent? What is the positive value for self-sabotaging? And whatever it answers, it has to be a positive answer. Maybe one of your values. It could be safety, it could be security, it could be acceptance, love, it could be just about anything. And then I want you to float that part back into your body. And rather than being angry with it or frustrated with it, kind of go, okay, this is an important message here. And I can be kind towards this message because it gives me an idea as to what the trigger is towards doing my self-sabotage. What's the underlying reason why do I self-sabotage? And this positive intent you need to meet in some other way than self-sabotaging. So let's say you self-sabotage because it makes you feel secure to not reach your goal, security or safety. Then you need to make sure that you establish safety and security in your life around this goal in order to meet it. And then you don't have to go to your deep dark past and NLP timeline it out. And you start to be able to honor those pieces of you that you need to reflect upon as an important stepping stone to resolving your self-sabotaging or your procrastination in that way. And that's why you self-sabotage.